I continue on, basically placed a board in there at the moment, so the fan will be mounted at the top there in a moment, and I'm just going to get the screws and we'll use them. We got to use the screws that are small for the motherboard, and there's these little backer paper washers that you can use so that you don't cause any shorts or anything like that, which is very nice to use. And there's what it looks like so far in the system. So let's continue and put the screws in. These screws right here, see, it has the red paper on the back. So those are the ones we use for the motherboard. The studs for the motherboard are already in there, so we don't need to worry about that. And an update, that's what it looks so far. Stud there, stud there, stud right behind the memory, and stud down there. When you're checking, just check your motherboard manual. It'll show you where all the proper mounting points are for that. It'll make it a lot more easier for you. And the reason why I'm using only one NVMe, if you're using two video cards simultaneously, it doesn't allow you to use two of the NVMe drives. So that's one of the reasons there. And the manufacturer doesn't give you a cover there neither for some odd reason. I don't know why. But, okay, let's continue putting the screws in. That's what it looks like so far. I just got to put the top three screws in there now, and I'll be done in a moment. Now that's all the screws put in there now. So now the next step is take the intercooler that's there and mount that up on the top right there. Is the next step. Let's continue on. Now the next thing we do, we just take the cover off the top to expose the screw heads. So where you can mount all different size intercoolers, liquid coolers. So that's it right there. So let's mount that up there and let's continue on. And basically that's how it mounts right there. You can see it there. And you got a screw there, screw in that corner, screw in that corner. And that's how you access the screws to put the liquid cooler in. Now, we put our mesh thing back on. Put it the other way. And then, bam, boom. Covers all the screws. Now let's continue on. This is going good so far. Haven't ran into any issues so far. I'm liking this. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, the next thing I'm going to do is put the power supply down in that corner. So let's take off that cover first so we can get good access to it. And you take those two screws out and you can slip off, the hinge comes off. You don't have to take any screws or anything out for that. It just slips off. So I'll be right back. We'll continue on. Oh, there it is there. All I gotta do is slide it this way to take the door off. And that's with the door off. Right there. To the way, so easy install. Alright, let's get that power supply here. And this is the power supply that we are putting in. A EV GA1000GQ. It's a 1000 watt power supply, and it got the 80 plus rating. So you know, it's a real pretty good power supply. But I have another one coming. This one is just going to be so I can get one system up and running, but I need the motherboard and power supply to run the other board, so that I can start work again. It just basically, we just got to continue on, and this one doesn't support the other motherboard for the work, so this only supports my gaming system. So we'll continue on. And that's where the power supply goes right there. It's not plugged into anything yet, so what I'm going to do is put the screws on the back here. Let's continue on. And here is the back. So we put that screw, those two screws in to hold in the back of the case. And let's continue on. That's how we got along so far. I got 2 in. I'm going to put the other 2 in now. And then right there is where the secondary system will be going in my work system. I'm going to leave the cover on for the meanwhile. Then once the other parts come in, then I'll put the other cover in. There's an adapter plate that you put in there. And that would be, just one sec. And that would be the plate that you would use for the secondary system. So the power supply only takes 2 screws. So that looks good. Let's plug in the motherboard now and see how it runs. Now we pulled the power cord through the top grommet because that grommet was the closest to my to the power outlet on the motherboard. So let's plug that 24 pin into that port right there. There it's plugged in the board. I'm going to lift it back up and I'm going to pull that wire back through the grommet a little bit to take off that slack. That's the power cable all strapped in with the Velcro. Pretty cool installation. It works out pretty good. Wire's a little tangled up here, but now I'm going to hook up the LED strip. I just got to find out where the wire's running to. So the ones we're going to run now, we're going to run the USB Type-C down there, and then we're going to run the 2 other USB connectors through the bottom grommet. And they are pushed through the bottom grommet. So I'm just going to flip it over so we can plug it into the motherboard, the cables. Now the USB Type-C connector is right down there. That connector there, so I'm going to plug that wire in now. And there it is connected. Now move on to the other connectors. The other USB connectors and the HD audio. I don't have 2 USB. I have the Type-C and 1 USB. So I'm assuming you can use that one for the secondary system. So you have 2 USB ports on the front for the secondary, and then you have 2 USBs for the main board. So I guess that's how I'll have to set that up. That's what it looks like so far. The wires run. I have to pull the other wire through to take off some of that slack, and I'll pull that USB wire back through until I install the other system. And HD audio, I didn't decide if I'm going to put that on the gaming system or the work system. I haven't decided. So we got that connected. I'll sloop these up tight so they're nice and tight, and then we'll find that RGB cable so that we can connect it to the main board and connect the other RGBs on the other side. We have to push through the grommet. Let's see where that HD audio connector is. Let's take a look here. Can't see a very good picture of that.